Hare Krishna, welcome to the systematic and summary study of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we shall try to analyze and study the 8th chapter of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and before we begin today's session I shall chant a few prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishthiki Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I would like to welcome again everyone to this 18-day session on the systematic study of the greatest literature, Srimad Bhagavatam. We have been discussing the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam that contains 19 chapters and 808 shlokas. So today we shall try to understand and analyze the 8th chapter of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So till now we have seen how the Pandavas, especially Arjuna, meted out exemplary punishment to the great, abominable and despicable act committed by the son of Dronacharya, Ashwathama. Ashwathama mercilessly killed the 5 sleeping sons who were just small young teenage boys in the dead of the night after the completion of the battle of Mahabharata. So after that, when Arjuna chased Ashwathama to capture him, Ashwathama was so self-centered that in order to save himself, he released the Brahmastra in spite of not knowing the technique of taking it back. So then Arjuna released his Brahmastra on the instruction and guidance of Sri Krishna, and then counteracted both the Brahmastra weapons. After that, Arjuna captured Ashwathama and brought him to the camp of the Pandavas, where Draupadi forgave this sinful act committed by Ashwathama, and later, in order to give him punishment on the indication of Krishna, Arjuna severed the money which was on Ashwathama's head and also shaved his hair, and they let him out of the camp. And after that, it continues in the 8th chapter of the first canto. Suta Goswami is narrating these happenings to the sages of Naimisharanya. Suta Vacha Athate Samparetanam Swanam Udakamichatam Datum sa Krishna Gangayam Puraskritya Yayustriyaha. All the relatives of the Kauravas and the Pandavas, after the completion of the battle of Mahabharata, they went to the banks of the most sacred river Ganga and performed ablutions for the deliverance of the departed souls. They let out their grief again, and then they came back to the capital city, which is Hastinapura. Santvayamasa munibihi hatabandhuhu shucharpitan. Everyone was overwhelmed with a sense of intense grief and lamentation. Shoka artam. So all the Kaurava relatives, all the Pandavas, they were overcome with grief and lamentation, and the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna pacified Santvayam Asa Munibihi. Along with the great sages, they performed this very important task of providing the right knowledge in order to pacify the grieving relatives of the Kauravas and the Pandavas. So, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text number 11, the first instruction given by the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna helps us to come out of the lamentation over death. Krishna says in 2.11 of the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Ashocyan Anvashochastvam Prajnavadamscha Bhashase Gatasun Agatasumscha Nanushochanti Panditaha. A wise person does not lament either for the living or for the dead, because the real living force is the Jivatma, which by nature is eternal and indestructible. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha. For the spirit soul, for the Jivatma, na jayate, never takes birth, nor does it ever die. Na mriyate va. So in this way, death is actually the greatest cause of fear, lamentation and grief in this world, and the only way to overcome these conditions of grief and lamentation is to come to the real light of spiritual knowledge as given by the Supreme Lord in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like in a dark place, there is definitely a cause of lot of fear, because we do not know what exactly is there. So we always have the fear of the unknown. So when the sun rises in the sky, automatically it drives away all fear of darkness. So likewise, all suffering, misery and lamentation in this world is due to the darkness of ignorance, and by the light, by the torch of spiritual knowledge, we can become free from all fear, grief and lamentation. So in this way, Lord Shri Krishna and the great sages pacified everyone at Hastinapura, and after some time, Gantum Kritamatir Brahman Dwarakam Rathamasthitaha. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, Gantum Kritamatir Brahman Dwarakam Rathamasthitaha. The Supreme Lord now decided to go back to his supreme eternal abode, the place called Dwaraka. Dwarakam Ratham Asthitaha. He had already boarded his chariot in order to depart from Hastinapura, but at that time a great emergency, a great calamity suddenly again took place. So what was that? Upalebhe abhidhavantim uttaram bhayavihvalam. Uttara is the wife of Abhimanyu. So the daughter-in-law of Arjuna and Subhadra. So Abhimanyu and Uttara are husband and wife. Abhimanyu had already been killed, slain in the great battle of Mahabharata at Kurukshetra while fighting very valiantly. Seven commanders of the Kauravas had to simultaneously launch an attack on Abhimanyu in order to subdue and finally kill him. So now Uttara, the wife of Abhimanyu, was carrying the child, she was pregnant with a child, and Upalebhe abhidhavantim uttaram bhayavihvalam. Uttara, in great fear, approached the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So what was the great difficulty? What had happened? Uttara expressed herself. Uttaro vacha pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagatpate na anyam tvad ubhayam pashye yatra mrityuhu parasparam. This is the great quality of all the family members in the Pandu Vamsha, in the family of Pandavas, that whenever they have any difficulty, they, being the pure devotees of Supreme Lord Krishna, they are the eternal associates of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, they are Ananya Bhaktas, and therefore they take exclusive protection and they seek the exclusive shelter of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. We had seen this even in the yesterday's session, that how Arjuna, as soon as he saw the Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama approaching him, he immediately took shelter of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So now Uttara again has approached Krishna and is expressing to him, Pahi Pahi Mahayogin, O Supreme Lord, Deva Deva Jagatpate, the Lord of Lords, Krishna, you are the Lord of the entire universe, Jagatpati, Pahi Pahi, please protect me. Na anyam tvad ubhayam pashye yatra mrityuhu parasparam. Uttara would very nicely present that there is no one else in this world, in this entire universe, that can protect a person from the clutches, from the jaws of death, of mrityu. Yatra mrityuhu parasparam. This material world is also called as Martyaloka, the place of death. Here, as stated even in the Bhagavad Gita 2.26, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu, everyone is destined to die. Even in the Srimad Bhagavatam, later in the 10th canto, it is expressed by Vasudeva, the father of Shri Krishna, to Kamsa, that Mrityur janmavata mira dehena sahajayate adyava abdashatanteva mrityurvai praninam dhruvaha. Today or tomorrow, now or after 100 years, one is definitely bound and destined to die. So, this is such an inevitable truth in this material world that it is practically an inescapable, insurmountable truth. But there is one and only one solution, only one way that we can even overcome the greatest danger of mrityu or death. That is by taking shelter of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. And therefore, here Uttara has taken the perfect decision. Here we can find that Uttara has directly approached in the face of a great calamity. She could have approached even the five valiant Pandavas, who were world famous, who were famous to be the best warriors in the whole world. But Uttara has taken the perfect decision to directly approach the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. She is offering this wonderful prayer that Krishna, please protect me, because you are the only one who can protect one from the clutches, from the danger of death. Abhidravati Mamisha Sharastaptaya So Vibho Kamam Dahatu Mam Natha Mame Garbho Nipatyatam. And what was the danger that had approached, that had befallen Uttara? Uttara says that a very, very powerful arrow is now approaching me. Abhidravati Mam Isha Sharastaptaya So Vibho. A very blazing and fiery arrow is approaching me. Let it burn me. I don't mind to die, but Name Garbho Nipatyatam. Please do protect the child within my womb, because the entire dynasty of the Kauravas was vanquished in the battle of Mahabharata, and they were only, even among the Pandavas, except for the five Pandavas and the five Upa-Pandavas who were remaining, all the others were killed. So after the battle of Kurukshetra, even the remaining five Upa-Pandavas, the five sons of Draupadi, were killed by Ashwathama. So the only remaining descendant in the entire Kuru dynasty was the child within the womb of Uttara. He had not even taken birth. So Uttara expressed her desire that Krishna, please protect the child in my womb. So that arrow was again, Krishna understood that Upadharya vachastasya Bhagavan Bhaktavatsalaha Apandavamidam Kartum Dronerastram Abudhyata. This was again a great mistake, a great sinful act being committed by none other than Ashwathama. Ashwathama, who already had committed the grossest sinful act of killing the five sleeping children of Draupadi, and had been captured by Arjuna and brought to the camp of the Pandavas, and in spite of committing such a grave offense and sin towards the Pandavas, he had personally seen how the Pandavas were still, they expressed their compassion and mercy, and they did not give him capital punishment. They still forgave him, pardoned him, and let him go. And yet this most ungrateful, the greatest villain of the battle of Mahabharata, Ashwathama, was so shameless, was so ungrateful, that he left another Brahmastra to attack the five Pandavas and also the child in the womb of Uttara. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna immediately understood that this was a Brahmastra released by Drauni, the son of Drona, Ashwathama, for the purpose, with the intention of killing all the remaining Pandavas, the five Pandavas, and the child in the womb of Uttara. So, Tarheva Thamunishreshtha Pandava Panchasayakan Atmano Bhimukhan Deeptan Alakshyastrani Upadaduhu. as soon as the Pandavas observed the Brahmastra approaching towards them, they all prepared themselves with their weapons to counteract this Brahmastra, but it already had approached so close. It already had come so nearby to the Pandavas that actually it was not possible to counteract the Brahmastra now. So what happened after that? Vyasanam vikshya tattesham ananya vishayatmanam sudarshanena swastrena swanam raksham vyadhad vibhuhu. Vibhuhu, the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, understanding the great danger that had befallen, that had come to his unalloyed pure devotees, the Pandavas, immediately at once took up Sudarshanena Swa Astrena. He took up his Sudarshana Chakra and protected the 5 Pandavas. So, although the Brahmastra cannot be counteracted at all by any other weapon in this world, we had seen in the previous chapter, it could be counteracted only by another Brahmastra. There was no other means to counteract it, to nullify a Brahmastra, but even beyond the Brahmastra or any weapon of this material or the spiritual world is the supreme weapon, the personal weapon, which is mentioned here as Sudarshanena Swa Astrena, the personal weapon of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Sudarshanena Swa Astrena Swanam Raksham Yadhad Vibhuhu, the unlimited, infinitely powerful Supreme Lord immediately sent the Sudarshana Chakra to protect the 5 Pandavas, and at the same time Antasthaha Sarva Bhutanam Atma Yogeshwaro Harihi Swamayaya Avrinod Garbham Vairatyaha Kurutantave. Krishna entered in the womb of Uttara, who is the daughter of the king of Virata. So Vairatyaha Kurutantave, he neutralized the Brahmastra which was about to strike the child in the womb of Uttara. He covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal Swamayaya Avrinod Garbham, by his personal energy and potency. So in this way Krishna protected his completely surrendered devotees, the Pandavas, as well as the child in the womb of Uttara, who is going to be later the great king Parikshit, the main recipient of the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way Krishna protected the Pandavas and the child of Uttara. Suta Goswami again clarifies to all the sages of Naimisharanya and to the entire world, because there may always be a doubt. Even the sages of Naimisharanya were astonished to hear that the Brahmastra could be counteracted. So Suta Goswami again reiterates that Yadyapyastram Brahma Shiraha Amogham cha Apratikriyam. Although the Brahmastra is irresistible and cannot be checked or counteracted, it was neutralized because Vaishnavam Teja Asadya Samashamyad Bhrugudvaha. It was completely neutralized by the potency of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Suta Goswami further says in 1.8.15 that Mamamstha in 1.8.16 that Mamamstha hetadaschcharyam sarvaschcharyamaechyute yaidam mayaya devya srijatyavati hantyachaha. Do not think this to be especially wonderful or amazing, because the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, just by his glance, without even his personal intervention, effortlessly creates, maintains and destroys this entire universe. So for him to counteract one Brahmastra is not a very difficult thing, is not a very wonderful thing. So in this way, Brahmatejo vinirmukter atmajay saha krishnaya prayanabhimukham krishnam idam aha pritha sati. After Krishna protected the Pandavas, Brahmatejo vinirmukter atmajay saha krishnaya. After Krishna protected the Pandavas and the child in the womb of Uttara, Prayana Abhimukham, Krishna again was ready to depart from Hastinapura to return to Dwaraka. At that time, the chariot of Krishna was stopped by Pritha Sati, by the great devotee of Krishna, his paternal aunt, that is Pritha. Pritha is another name of the mother of the Pandavas, Kunti Devi, the great personality Kunti. Kunti is one of the greatest personalities in the history, in the narration of the Mahabharata. She is related to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna as the paternal aunt of Krishna. Krishna's father is Vasudeva, and the sister of Vasudeva is Pritha or Kunti. So the father of Pritha Kunti as well as Vasudeva is the great king Shurasena. So in this way, Vasudeva and Pritha or Kunti, they are brothers and sisters. So Pritha Kunti is the paternal aunt of Shri Krishna, but she is also one of the greatest pure devotees of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. From 1.8.18 up to 1.8.43 are the wonderful and unparalleled prayers offered by Kunti Devi to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So these are the prayers of Queen Kunti. They are very, very sublime. They are some of the most exalted prayers, and they are very, very special. In a few more verses, we shall understand how these are some of the most unparalleled prayers ever offered in the history of mankind. Kunti begins her prayers by saying, Kunti uvacha namasye purusham tvadyam Ishwaram prakrite param alakshyam sarva bhutanam antarbahiravastitam. The first prayer offered by Queen Kunti in 1.8.18 reveals the great realization of Queen Kunti about the Supreme Absolute Truth, about the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So in fact, Kunti can be classified as one of the greatest Bhakti Vedanti, as one of the greatest Vedantist because she has realized the essence of the complete teachings of Veda and Vedanta. Her prayers express the deepest meanings of the teachings of Vedanta. Kunti prays, Namasye Purusham Tvadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param Alakshyam Sarvabhutanam Antar Bahirvasthitam. The first prayer to Krishna is actually the explanation of the Vedanta Sutra. Kunti says here that Namasye Purusham Tvadyam. Krishna, you are the Adi Purusha. Even in the previous chapter, in the first prayer offered by Arjuna to Krishna, when the Brahmastra was attacking Arjuna, was approaching Arjuna, Arjuna says, Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhayankara Tvameko Dahyamananam Apavargosi Samskritehi. Krishna had been addressed by Arjuna as Adi Purusha. The second Vedanta Sutra is Janmadyasya Yataha, that to the Supreme Brahman is the Adi, is the original source of everything. And here in the prayers of Arjuna, in the prayers of Kunti Devi, we find that they have already realized the supreme origin of everything, and therefore they are offering their prayers to Krishna. Kunti is praying that Adyam Purusham, Krishna, you are the original supreme personality of Godhead. Ishwaram, you are the supreme controller, and Prakritehe Param, you are always beyond the three modes of material nature. Material nature can never affect you. So this is the great realization of Kunti, which surpasses the knowledge of the greatest Vedantists. There are many Vedantis who don't even understand that the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is always Prakritehe Param. He is always Gunatita or Trigunatita. After reading all the Veda and Vedantas, there are many great Vedantists who say that Krishna is another product of Prakriti, of material nature. So such is the unfortunate situation of some of the so-called greatest Vedantists of this world. But here we find that the true Vedantist like Kunti Devi understands that Krishna is beyond Prakriti. He is in fact the supreme absolute truth, the greatest revelation, the greatest feature manifestation of Parama Satya, of the supreme absolute truth, even beyond the Avyakta Brahman and the Paramatma feature of the absolute truth. And therefore Kunti Devi is saying that Prakrite Param Alakshyam Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahiravasthidam. Kunti Devi says that Alakshyam Sarva Bhutanam, actually Krishna, you are invisible, you cannot be seen by anybody in this material world. Bhuta means one who is born in this material world. And Sarva Bhutanam, all the living entities in this material world being endowed with material senses and the material body cannot perceive the all spiritual Satchidananda Vigraha of Shri Krishna. So because he is Prakritehe Param, whereas the material body and the material senses are composed of Prakriti. Therefore, one who is Prakrite Param cannot be seen, cannot be experienced, cannot be perceived or comprehended by those who are under the clutches of Prakriti. So, Antar Bahiravasthitam, although you are present inside and outside of everything, yet you are invisible to all. So the time of the Supreme Lord's incarnation is the special mercy of the Supreme Lord, where He gives an opportunity for everyone to see Him, to surrender unto Him, and thus attain the highest perfection of spiritual existence. But the Supreme Lord, even after His disappearance, actually by His potencies is always omnipresent. He is present everywhere, and to normal ordinary people He cannot be seen. But there is a procedure, there is a technique, there is a way how to see Him. Always, in everything. So how it can be done, that will be explained by Kunti in the next verses, that Maya Javanika Channam Ajnano Ajnadhokshajam Avyayam Na Lakshyase Mudha Drisha Nato Natyadharo Yatha. Here a very nice and beautiful example is given by Kunti, that because you are adhokshaja, you are beyond the range of sense perception. In Sanskrit, akshaja means anything that comes under the purview of material sense understanding, sense perception. The Sanskrit alphabet begins with a to ksha. So anything that is akshaja, that can be described by material words, is called akshaja. But the Supreme Lord Krishna is adhokshaja. He is beyond all material description or any material influence. So therefore, being adhokshaja, na lakshyase mudha drisha, He is the eternally the supreme irreproachable factor. Many times in the Upanishads, in the Vedic scriptures, it is stated that Avan Manasa Gocharaha, the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is beyond the range of material sense perception. It is also stated in the scriptures that Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyaihi. The name, form and everything about the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna cannot be understood by the material senses and the material mind. So even when Krishna is present, as when He incarnates in this samsara, in this material world, He is still covered by His internal potency, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.25. Krishna says, Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudhoyam nabhijanati lokomam ajamavyayam. That I am always covered by the curtain of Yogamaya, the potency by which the ordinary foolish people think of me as an ordinary human being. Many times in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has stated that anyone who thinks that Krishna is an ordinary human being is the greatest fool, is the greatest ignorant person. So therefore, because the fact is the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is the Parabrahman, as stated by Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, Parabrahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. Krishna, you are Parabrahman, you are the supreme absolute truth, you are the supreme Brahman. So when Krishna appears to the normal ordinary people, they think he is another ordinary human being, or maybe an extraordinary human being, but fail to understand and comprehend that Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the cause of all causes, the supreme Brahman. Because the Supreme Lord is covered by the curtain of Yogamaya, and that can be removed only by the supreme will of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So when does he remove this curtain of Yogamaya? Only when a person, when the soul completely surrenders to the Supreme Lord, Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. At that time, this curtain of Yogamaya is removed and one can understand the truth that the Supreme Absolute Truth is none other than Krishna Vasudeva. This may take many lifetimes, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudevaha sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabhaha. So the point is, for the ordinary people, Krishna seems to be like an ordinary human being or an extraordinary human being. So he's covered, just like the example given by Kunti here is very appropriate, that nato natyadharo yatha, just like an actor dressed as a player in a drama or in a movie is not recognized by the people. So we have this experience that just like in some movies, if an actor does a lot of makeup and kind of puts on a disguise, then the viewer may not be able to recognize the actor who has put on a disguise. So likewise, seeing the activities of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, the common mass of people, the ordinary people who are not guided by the Acharya, by the scriptural directions of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, think of him to be an ordinary human being. So not only the ordinary human beings, Kunti Devi further says in 1.8.20 that Tatha Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyemahi Striyaha. So even the great Paramahamsas, some of the greatest transcendentalists are not able to fully realize the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So Kunti Devi expresses her humility by saying, Katham pashyemahi striyaha. I being a woman, how can I understand and see you in the right perspective? So, but the fact is, although Kunti is making this statement out of her humility, the fact is Kunti Devi's position is beyond even the greatest sages and the greatest of Vedantists, because she has understood the complete truth of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So Krishna being the supreme irreproachable factor in the entire universe, the most difficult to understand in the whole universe. In the Bhagavad Gita many times Krishna has stated that even the host of Devatas cannot understand me, and Kunti Devi is expressing the same thing in her prayers. So what should one do? That is being taught by Kunti Devi, that one should simply surrender to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna and engage in his pure devotional service by chanting his infinite glories. So then Kunti in 1.8.21 offers this very wonderful and very famous prayer. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Let me therefore just offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, who is the who appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, who is the darling of all the residents of Nanda Gokula, who is the enlivener of the cows and the senses. Govindaya Namo Namaha. Further in 1.8.22, Kunti Devi offers another very exquisite exquisite prayer to Krishna. Namah Pankajanabhaya, Namah Pankajamaline, Namah Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraye. She says, my respectful obeisances are unto you, O Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. Namah Pankajanabhaya, whose abdomen is marked with a navel depression like a lotus flower. His nabhi, his navel is like the depression of a lotus flower. In fact, it is the birthplace, it is the origin of the entire material cosmos. From the nabhi of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna sprouts the lotus flower, which is the birthplace of the first living entity, which is Lord Brahma. So Namah Pankajanabhaya, Namah Pankajamaline. Krishna is decorated with beautiful lotus garlands. Namah Pankajanetraya. His glance is as cooling and soothing as the lotus. The glance of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is the supreme deliverer from the scorching flames of samsara, of this material world. Namaste Pankajangraye. And finally, Kunti Devi says, I offer my obeisances unto your lotus feet. Actually, Kunti Devi is slightly hesitating to completely surrender to Krishna, at least externally, because it may be a little embarrassing for the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, she being in a superior position as his aunt, almost on the level of his mother. If Kunti had immediately and first expressed that I offer my respectful obeisances unto your lotus feet, Krishna would have got a little embarrassed in that assembly. So therefore, Kunti Devi actually wanted to surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna, but she is starting from lotus navel, lotus garland, lotus eyes, and then coming to lotus feet. So that is the wonderful explanation given by the Acharyas about the psychology of Kunti in offering this prayer. She further prays that Yatha Rishikesha Khalena Devaki Kamsena Ruddhati Chiram Shucharpita Vimochita Hamcha Sahatmacha Vibho Tvayaiva Nathena Muhur Vipadghanat. Just like Vasudeva and Devaki had to undergo many tribulations at the hands of the cruel Kamsa, likewise Kunti Devi says that even in their personal life, the life of Kunti and the Pandavas, they had to undergo a series of calamities and difficulties. In the next shloka, in 1.8.24, Kunti Devi enlists all the great calamities and dangers and tribulations that they had to undergo. Vishan Mahagnehe Purushada Dakshanad Asat Sabhaya Vanavasa Krichkataha Mridhe Mridhene Kamaharathastkato Draunyastrataschasma Harebhi Rakshitaha. My dear Krishna, we had to, when Bhima was a small child in the Gurukul, he was administered poison. Vishan, Mahagnehe. Later they were sent to Varanavagta, where the palace of Lak was constructed and it was set on fire. Vishan, Mahagnehe, Purushada Dakshanat. Somehow with the help of Vidura they escaped from there, but then they had to confront a very powerful Rakshasa called Hidimba, and later also Bakasura, Asat Sabhaya, and after some time they were called to the very impious assembly of the Kauravas, where by deceit Duryodhana and Shakuni defeated the Pandavas in the gambling match, and they were sent to Vanavasa Krichkataha, to exile in the forest, where they had to face many difficulties. So Mridhe Mridhene Kamaharathastkato. Mridhe, in the battlefield, they had to again face many dangers. There were many Maharathis, great warriors and fighters on the side of the Kauravas, and from all these dangers, finally now Kunti Devi says, Draunyastrataha, from the terrible Brahmastra left by Ashwathama twice, Abhirakshitaha, in all these dangerous situations, Krishna, we have been protected by you. And now, when all the dangers and calamities are over, Krishna, you are going back. So next prayer offered by Kunti Devi 1.8.25 is an unparalleled and unequaled, unique, the most unique prayer that you can come across in the history of mankind. A most wonderful prayer. You cannot see such a kind of prayer in any other literature. 1.8.25 Kunti Devi prays, Vipadaha santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato dakshanam yatsyad apunar bhavadakshanam. Kunti Devi, after enlisting all the great miseries and sufferings that they had to undergo, but in all of them, in all their tribulations, they were protected by the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. And now, after all their difficulties are over, Krishna is leaving them and going back to Dwaraka. Kunti Devi now prays that Krishna, then I don't want favorable so-called happy conditions of material existence. She is now praying, Vipadaha santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru. Let those calamities come again and again repeatedly. What kind of a prayer is this? This may seem very, very amazing, in fact, to the point of being crazy. Everyone goes to the Supreme Lord with a prayer to mitigate their suffering. But here is a prayer where Kunti Devi is praying that give me more and more suffering. So, is this a foolish prayer? No. In the second two lines of this shloka, Kunti Devi, we can understand that Kunti Devi is the greatest spiritualist, the greatest transcendentalist in realization of the supreme truths of spirituality, because she says, Bhavato dakshanam yatsyad apunar bhavadakshanam. If difficulties lead to intense remembrance of you, Krishna, whenever there is a difficulty, we we remember of you intensely, and whenever we remember you intensely, Krishna, you give your supreme dakshan. Bhavato dakshanam yatsyad. So therefore, in difficulties, we remember you intensely, and then we have your dakshan. So indirectly, the difficulties or sufferings of life are leading to your dakshan. So which is the most welcome thing, the greatest aspiration of a spiritualist, of a transcendentalist, to have the dakshan of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Shri Krishna. Bhavato dakshanam yatsyad apunar bhavadakshanam. By having dakshan of Krishna, apunar bhavadakshanam, one need not have the dakshan of the bhavasagara, of the samsara sagara ever again. So seeing you, Krishna, means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths. So that is the beauty of the prayer offered by Kunti. She is not foolish in asking for more suffering in her prayer. In fact, she is the wisest and the most intelligent. But this is spiritual wisdom and spiritual intelligence. Kunti Devi is saying that if suffering leads to your dakshan, then they are most welcome. Krishna, give me more and more suffering. doing, so that we can more and more intensely think and remember you, by which we can have your darshan, by which we will be freed from Bhavasagara, from this ocean of repeated birth and death. So such are the wonderful, unique and unparalleled prayers offered by Queen Kunti to the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. There are some more prayers. They are so wonderful, they are so sublime. So we shall continue to understand, to hear these most wonderful prayers offered by Queen Kunti tomorrow. If you have any questions, please do post them on the WhatsApp group or in the comments box, and please do join us tomorrow for the continuation of the explanation of the unique and wonderful prayers offered by Queen Kunti. Please do subscribe to our